I've never shared this with anybody in public before, so this is some exclusive content just for this webinar. People wonder, so I've talked about my automation experience in the printed circuit board industry that I was in for 8 years in the past. People wonder how I got into and basically how I developed my system and a lot of the concepts for follow-up dating apps.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Let us know what city and state you're from or country. We've got Adam Frank, Trenton Bowden here with us. Adam, you know already, he's an automator and he helps out a lot with processes for Chime. If you need his help, you know how to get a hold of him. And Trenton is my director of technology for Tristan & Associates. We're bringing him into these because he's helping out rebuild our Chime. And as he's doing that, he can answer questions for you as well. Let's see what we've got. We've got Derek from Toronto. How's the weather in Toronto, Canada, Derek? That's what I want to know since I can barely handle 40. What's that like, man? Let's see it freezing. See, I mean, but is it really freezing? Is it like below 20? Not like oh, damn. That's cold.
Yeah, so cold.
I'm not saying anything then. All right, guys, let's get started. Thanks for joining us again. Adam, he's the person of the hour here, or of the 30 minutes. And there you go, Wisconsin. Dude, that's the weather you're used to at Adam. 22 degrees. Right?
But I come down this way in wintertime because in a couple of weeks it's going to be like negative stupid up there. So I hide from that now. I'm done with that stuff.
No good. All right, guys, this is the 94th episode of Weekly Chime. Can you believe it? We're like 6 away from 100. Been crazy that we've been doing this for about 2 years now. So today, let's refresh your smart plans. That's why we've got Adam here. Trenton, you can chime in at any time. Adam, what do you have for us?
So I want to be going slightly out of order here because I prepped some stuff ahead of time. So I'm going to cover how to strategically set up and update the language of your smart plans to match your market. So things are still pretty warm in certain areas. Things are correcting slowly. A lot of the country in several markets, we're getting around like a 2 to 3 month inventory. So we're slowly heading and staying steady there. And even like when you have more than a month change of inventory in absorption rate, like that's a noticeable change. People start to feel things. So whenever there's a change, like the market is dynamic. It's constantly changing, just like the weather, right? So when we have those kind of changes where you can start to feel things, right? The wind picks up, you start to feel a little bit cooler. We need to articulate to the clients and the customers and the leads, what exactly does that mean for them? Because that's really what they care about, is how does this affect their ability to get the results that they want in this market? So no matter what the market or economy is doing, deals happen every single day. Things close no matter what's going on. Even during the Great Depression, there were people needed to buy and sell. So using the market as an excuse is not cool. The market changes should be empowering people, not giving people excuses. So I'm going to cover some of that stuff. How to come from a place of contribution instead of selling. Getting away from what I call like the whiny toddler pulling out the mother's dress analogy. That just, like the sheep is kicking the dirt. Like there's a difference between asking for business and begging for business. Ask for it, don't beg for it. They just smell that desperation from miles away. The last thing is basically one of the things I've talked about a lot is basically how to like bring this forward into a process that's actionable. And the biggest takeaway here is how to match your business to your follow-up to walk the talk. And that's going to be everything from lead generation to follow-up to execution with your client in person. Like that all needs to be the same because that is your brand. Your brand is the perception that the public has of the way that you do business. If you have anything there that has any sort of void or any sort of mini process in there that falls short of exactly what your brand is, you're going to be on the struggle bus. If you're driving the struggle bus, that's great. But if you're sitting in the far back, you're screwed. Then you're going to have a really hard time this year.
We should have named this the struggle bus.
All right. Struggle bus.
Raise your hand if you're in the struggle bus, because Adam's here to help you out. Adam, are you driving the struggle bus? That's what I want to know.
I built it, designed it, maintained it, and I'm driving that son bitch. my whole life,
Struggle bus.
my whole life has been a struggle, man.
The Struggle Bus Smart Plans by Adam Frank. Okay, Adam, what are they, buddy? The Struggle Bus Smart Plans.
So one thing I want to do, because I love sharing my screen, I did prep this a little bit for brevity, is get rid of this here.
Notice that he said brevity, not brevity, because Chime is better than brevity.
Short is the out part,
okay?
Concise.
We've tested both out. Chime is much better, just so you know. There you go.
Exactly. So what I do is I prep this. So one of the things you can do to update the language to, like lead into matching your market.
Okay.
And come from a place of contribution or helping instead of selling, is cleaning up some of the language. So I'm going to pick on myself here. This is one of my older original templates here from a smart plan. So what I do here is anything like the greeting, the end, like I just click the, I don't want the potatoes and the beans. I just want the meat here, the middle message. We're going to go over to something that's free to use. It's called the Hemingway app.
Hold on. When you were growing up, did you have like an uncle or maybe your dad or your mom? Did they like use analogies like that? Because I love them, by the way. Like we don't use the beans, we use the let's just go to the meat, the struggle bus, and then remember the whole barbecue thing that you did?
Yep.
Dude, it's like
no, that's all.
Loved it. I love this stuff. Just so you know,
that is all how my brain works. And so one thing I hope this isn't too racy for the webinar here. I've never shared this with anybody in public before. So this is some exclusive content just for this webinar.
Ooh, I like it.
People wonder, so I've talked about my automation experience in the printed circuit board industry that I was in for 8 years in the past. Mm-hmm. And people wonder how I got into and basically how I developed my system and a lot of the concepts for follow-up. Dating apps. So wow. I have learned, I'm on the autism spectrum. I have Asperger's. And communication, I struggle. I'm on the struggle bus a lot. Like I'm on the struggle semi-truck with that thing. So communication to me is very important. Being clear and concise, and I'm a very direct communicator, which turns off a lot of people because it's a little bit too direct than what they're used to. But deal with it basically. But being single and having to struggle with communicating with women in hopes to meet them and date and figure out a partner and all that stuff, you get a lot of rejection. Same thing with fishing, same thing with lead generation and follow-up. With following up with a lead, whether it be a real estate lead or a potential partner from Tinder or Match or whatever you want to call it, you're going to be dealing with, like, you're going to qualify them to see if they match your criteria of who you're looking for in the ideal partner, as well as, do I match up with them? Like, is this going to be a good fit? There's a lot of women that I've talked with that they're super into sports. I could not care less about sports. I hate it. It's not my deal. I'm going to be boring. So that's probably not going to be a good fit, right? If there's a lead out there that needs to have their hand held at every, I don't really have time for that. That's not how I envision my business. Again, going back to the brain. So follow-up is not only who is ready and willing to work with you, but also figuring out, is this a good client to work with that's going to basically fit my mold and go down my funnel so that we can do business together and create a lifelong client, right? If you're just a transactional agent, just do what you're doing because it probably doesn't matter that much. If you generate leads with the hopes of sorting everybody out so that you can create a client that will be there with you every step of the way through your career, then this is something to pay attention to. So that's the whole process of, like, I literally talk with thousands of of women on the different dating apps over the years, and it's just you get better at scripting. You get better at saying what you need to say, and you actually learn a lot about yourself through communicating more. Like just the other day, I met somebody on a dating app that is a video editor. So we're having coffee tomorrow morning, and I'm going to give her some video samples. And if she is, a good performer with the video editing and stuff, I'm going to hire her to edit my videos. So you never know where things are going to come up. Anyways, so a little secret behind the method here. So Hemingway app. This is a free thing. So at Hemingway app.com, 1M, 1N. And I've been using this tool for a few years now. I think probably about 3 years. This is the standard. This is the standard thing that just pops up here when you load the website, and it shows. Let me get this out of the way here. Over on the right, it expands. You can see the readability in the grade level, the reading time it takes to actually have somebody. So 31 seconds means somebody with the grade 6 reading comprehension will be able to read this passage in 31 seconds. Give you some breakdowns, adverbs, passive voice versus active voice, anything you can simplify things, hard to read and very hard to read. So this is something that I do. So I take all my templates and I throw them in here and basically figure things out from there. So I just copy the one over. So initially you're just going to select everything and then paste in here, and you can see, so readability is grade 5. Reading time is 26 seconds. So how I like to, my thresholds, my goals, if it's a text message that I'm trying to send, I try to limit that to be 10 seconds of reading. If it's an email, I'm aiming between 15 to 20 seconds, like pretty strict on the 20-second maximum. Anything longer than 20 seconds, you're really starting to lose people. Like if it's longer than 20 seconds, put that in the video. So this already tells me, grade 5, which is good. Reading time, 26 seconds. I want to shrink this down a little bit. I've got one adverb, and we've got simple alternatives. Some things are hard to read. So what you do is you basically hover over this word. It tells you what the suggestions are. Like basically like don't be a little bit more bold. Okay, so I'm just going to omit that. Oops. There you go. Right there. Get out of there. There we go. Omit that, goes away, and then it clears that out. So no adverbs, well done. Pat yourself on the back. Simple alternative. So we're going to do yet. Okay. And now we've got this one hard and this one very hard. I would take this out because how you doing? Honestly, I don't really care how people are doing because that's not the message I want to send. I just want to get the message out there and move on. Right? So then you can look at these different sentence structures and see exactly where you can make improvements. So here we're still at 25. So I shaved off 1 second, made it a little more simple. Take a look at that. You can screenshot that a little bit. I'll hold that for about 5 seconds to have you guys give an example of a screenshot. I got the finished one on the other side here. So screenshot that. And then this is the alternative that I made. I'm just going to read this quickly. I know it's still going to be a while before you're ready to look at homes in person. Wanted to make sure it's okay to send you properties to look at in the meantime. It'll keep you up to date on the market, what kind of homes are available when you're ready. I don't want to clog up your email and bother you, so let me know if you want to do your home search on your own. Basically, that last sentence is me being a little more assertive and saying, look, if you don't want me to send this stuff and you just want to do things on your own, like I'll just update my database and we can move on. I don't care, And reading time, so grade 6 readability, still pretty good. Reading time went from 26 down to 19 seconds. And then you can see here, so no adverbs, active voice all the time, which is good for calls to action and showing that confidence that you have in your business through your messaging. And none of this is difficult to read. So going from this here in the original over to this, shaved 6 seconds, and is going to be easier to read and less cumbersome than the original template. So I would highly advise when you're writing your scripts, you can do this with phone scripts, you can do this with voicemail drops, you can do this with text messages, email templates, all that stuff, any kind of communication. Take this and run it through this Hemingway app, and then when you're finished and you have the final copy, then you can just copy it, put it into your Chime system in your smart plan, and then go to the next template and do that. This is really good as well. I know a lot of people that are using that Chat GPT to play around with for scripting and templating and stuff. Copy and paste that stuff in here and make your tweaks using this free app and fine tune everything for readability. Like, you've got just a few seconds to get somebody's attention, and if you don't keep it, like, you're in a creek. So, yeah, it's a really good method to basically kind of have your back. Not everybody's a wordsmith. I mean, I use Grammarly, and sometimes there's a few words that I've definitely struggled with that I know, and I just kind of slap it out on the keyboard and let Grammarly yell at me, kind of a thing. So
I could never spell believed right for the longest time. I mean, what did I spell? So first year of law school, I'm in contracts. I do the final, right? We do these briefs. They pull them out, and I misspell brief, like, because we have to do the briefs. I misspell brief every single time because it's written. And then he brings it up like next year, the second year. He's like, some guy or some person misspelled brief. He's like, you got to be kidding me. And obviously we're numbers. So I felt so bad. Because I was like, yeah, who would misspell brief? And then I get my test back and it's me. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, right. One of the
that was bad. That was bad. Adam, I want to tell you, yes, a lot of people are using Chat GPT. And I was talking to our website developer. What we're doing is grabbing the items that we create on Chat GPT, putting them on Quillbot. So Quillbot kind of makes you, it checks for you whether or not it's plagiarized or anything along those lines, corrects some grammar. And then now I'm thinking, since I saw Hemingway and I didn't know about Hemingway, I'm thinking that could be the final piece to this process before we go and publish it as a blog, or in this case, some type of communication with somebody, whether it's a newsletter or an email. So thanks for that, man. I really love that.
Yeah, and like some of the things too, like especially when you get into more of the detailed processes, like the lending process, and you're going to use like jargon and you're going to use terms. It will flag, and there's certain things. I mean, like, yeah, like if you just have to have a difficult sentence in that script, it is what it is. It's fine. But if most, if I try to limit it to like one very hard, like especially if it's like a super technical thing, we're talking about inspections, we're talking about the appraisal, it'll definitely like struggle a little bit. But using that to at least get most of it as readable as possible, like. The best communication is the most clear communication, is the most simple communication. I mean, we just, I don't want to bring up his name too much, but like, Andrew Tate, if we use big words like he does all the time, like that's cool. Like, cool. He's like, you read a thesaurus in the dictionary all the time for when you're bored, but most of the people, they don't talk like that. And actually the 5th and 6th grade reading level, standard was given to me by, Sheplak. And I watched one of his videos, and he said the financial institution, we're talking Wall Street, men and women that are highly intelligent, all of their email communication average around the 5th or 6th grade reading level.
Yeah.
So like if we're talking with people that have more zeros than anybody else in the country are aiming at like 5th or 6th grade for comprehension, that's probably something that you want to take home. I guess that's pretty good. So that's kind of why I use that as the standard.
Well, I'll tell you, to go further into that, there was actual research done that Malcolm Gladwell brings up in the book Outliers and in other books that he's written, where he specifically says, if you're going to write for 8th grade level so that people can connect with you better. So it's research that has been done. So that's probably what he was referring to. But Malcolm Gladwell, pick up one of his books. They're all good. So there you go.
Super. So the other thing to match your market. So like when you're, step one is to basically get your message across about what you provide, what you can do to help. And one of the biggest things right now is people like easy buttons. I see it a lot of time. I mean, things that you use every day that, that don't, don't really register, right? A microwave, that was invented because people wanted an easier, faster way to cook food. That's exactly what it does. So if you can make the home buying or home selling process easier by simplifying things, it's going to make it more understandable. And when you educate people without being condescending to them, which means talking down to people like them, they're gonna trust us. I love doing that. That's like that's my dad joke for the day. So but when you can do that without sounding condescending, they're going to be educated. They're not going to feel belittled, and that's going to get them. You're building up that rapport and relationship, and they're gonna trust you more because now like they talk with you. You understand. It's like, yeah, like, it just makes it easier. You don't complicate things, and if you don't complicate things, they don't see it as you simplifying. You like dumbing things down. You're just simple. I'm just making this simple. Like, this thing is just simple. There's 6 simple steps to the home buying process. Here's what they are, and here's what that's like with me. That goes into your brand, right? I run my business differently than you do, than somebody else does. So how does that process of the big picture process of, okay, yeah, you need to get approved or have cash, and then you look for homes with an agent, and then like those steps are great, but how does that look like with you? Because that's really what we're doing here. This isn't some Wikipedia page that we're creating in our smart plans that is giving a bullet point of, okay, well, here, you need to get pre-approved. Here's the 6 documents that you need, basically 2 years of everything, right? That's a Wikipedia article. We're not doing that here. This is a personal customer service, client service based business. So yes, those are the key points. But what does that look like with me? What like you want to have an agent helping you the whole way. So instead of me just basically lecturing you about the situation, what is your experience going to be like with me? Not only are you giving them more information that's going to empower them to make the decisions when and how they need to, but you're also upholding your brand, right? Like my trademark slogan is your trusted guide to real estate. I've been using that for the 4.5 years I've been here. That I want people to trust me, and I want people to trust that me and my team are going to be the ones like, this is a mess. This is a jungle. We're going to grab some hatchets and machetes, and we're just going to start hacking through a bunch of nonsense and show you the clear path to get where you want. You tell us where you want to go, and we will figure it out together. That's my brand. And that's what my leads and my clients, that's why we get recommendations from past clients, is because that's exactly what we do. And we say, this is what we're going to do. This is our process. And when they experience that with us, we're walking the talk. This is exactly what we do. All the agents, all of the referral partners on my team, they are trusted guides. They've been doing this before. There's not a lot of situations that come up that they haven't been through before or haven't been advised on before through others' experiences. We know what we're doing, and our experience proves that. So if you can state that and have that mentality come across in a very humble way, keep everything in check here, you're going to do a lot better with earning trust. And that's one of the biggest things is, educate, earn trust. And, when they say like show value, well, the value is what you bring to the table, to the transaction and the process. If you're not explaining what you do in your lead gen and in your follow-up, like, what are you talking? You're not talking about your business. You'd be talking about John's business. You're basically having a ghostwriter do your business for you, and that's not always good. So paying attention to that is really important when you're updating your smart plans.
Dude, I'm hearing you, and I'm thinking you have to bring value at all the different levels that we're working with the consumer, right? So at first is to attract them. So what value are you bringing to attract them, right? And then once they're inside of your sphere, then how are you bringing value enough for them to choose you, to work with you? Because then that requires a different set of values so that they can trust you more. And then once they're working with you, how can you make that the best experience for them? And that requires a whole different set of values. It involves a lot more communication. Right?
Exactly. And having different points of like, one thing is, okay, cool. Here's the process, right? Here's the process with me. So now you've got their attention. How do you keep it? Well, obviously, market information is extremely important. For one, I don't do market reports. I do market consultations, because knowing what is going on in the market and how that affects the ability to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today is not a chart. It is a conversation. It is much more than that. You had anybody, I've done this before down in Chicago when I did a training with a different platform back in 2019. I had agents, I said, okay, go print out a market report for last month. I want you to find 10 people, collectively, there was like 30 some agents there that I did a training with. To go out there and you find 10 people among the 30 of you that have, they're not in the real estate industry, hand them that sheet of the report and say, you got 30 seconds to read that and tell me what the market's doing right now. None of those, they're like, nobody. Why would you send somebody something that they have no idea what that's graphs and numbers and charts, and okay, yeah, I think I can sell my house for that. Because they saw a number, you're poisoning the well. Like, that's not the way to do things. The market report is actually for the agent. Just like the same way that Revaluate takes all the 6 Ds of life events, aggregates them into a score of 1 or of 0 to 100, and then basically says, okay, here based on what we have, simply here's the possibility of them making a move in the next 4 to 6 months. In the same way, an agent takes the market report and, okay, explain months of inventory and absorption rate and median price versus average price to somebody. Like, you don't need to use those terms exactly, but you can explain better than handing someone a sheet of paper or an email, say, hey, here's the market report for December 2022. They have no idea what any of that means. And then having this toddler pulling on the mother's dress kind of analogy, hey, if you like to, here's a market report for December of 2022. If you'd like to know how this is going to affect you, reach out and give me a call. You're not going to get a call or a text or anything. You're going to get a middle finger at the screen, and they're going to delete the email because they feel overwhelmed and they feel like they don't understand what that stuff means. So you can do video in a smart plan if you want to send that along. That's always great. So in Chime, write this on your calendars. The market reports are sent on the 5th of the month. So if you time out a smart plan and use a recurring date of the 5th of the month in the morning and shoot a video, you can plan that out for it's January, you missed one, but now it's started with February. You can plan that out to be hit in the morning starting February 5th, and go in there, just set up a template, go in there each step and record a BombBomb or a dub video or a YouTube video and put that in the email, so that when that market report sends out, you have basically an accomplice or an accessory essentially going out, kind of like your nudge text, Tristan. So you get the market report come up, market report explanation, and in the subject line, in the brackets, the square brackets, put video, so that they know it's a video and that's going to get attention. I like to put it in the beginning and the end with a subject line in the middle, so it's kind of like, sirens and lights on the sides. And then create that video explaining exactly what that market report is. But hey, just so I, sent you a market report. Things look really confusing, even though they got a lot of cool colors and graphs. So in your situation, this is what we're seeing is how it's affecting buyers, and this is what is affecting sellers. Putting that in a video is going to be a good middle ground or medium ground between just blasting out the market report with no follow-up added to it. And like I overthink about overthinking, I follow up to my follow-up. There's nothing wrong with following up, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Follow up with your follow-up. I love that.
That's your nudge text, man. Hey, I left you a voicemail. Let me know. You're following up to your follow-up. Double dials. Sales have been doing double dials for probably 100 years. I mean, it's all around us. All the secrets of this stuff are out there. You just got to put it together. Like, we all have the same access to the same ingredients. We just got to figure out our recipe. And your recipe is going to be different than mine, than Trenton's, than somebody else's.
Right? Yeah. But we know mine's better at the end anyway, so. Just messing with you.
You bet.
Oh, so good, dude. All right, what are you working on next? And then we'll let you go, Adam.
What am I? Oh, I'm um, working on a few different things, a few things I have to be secretive about. Um, but I am going to be offering more education opportunities for Chime users starting next month.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Exclusive content and only for Chime users. People that are using other systems will not have access to this as much as I can prevent that because it's not applicable to other systems, and it's just all about Chime. So
I like that, dude.
that'll be a fun one.
How do people get a hold of you if they have questions, Adam?
I would say the best way is to schedule a discovery call using my Calendly link. Let me type.
Drop it on here so people have it. Because I just added Hemingway to our process now. After I was fooling around with it, I was like, "Ooh, that looks good." I just texted Trenton too.
I think that works. Yep, okay, that works.
There you go, man. Let me make sure. I'm gonna click on it.
The discovery call is just a free half-hour phone call, just to figure out what your needs are. There's a little note section in there when people set up the appointment. I don't charge for that, so because I'm giving my time for free, I keep it to a strict 30 minutes. And when you make the appointment, you make the call. Because again, I'm not charging for it, so you've got, if I'm putting in the effort of giving you a half hour of my time for no charge, I appreciate if you put in the effort of contacting me at the time to start the appointment. So that way it's nice and fair. So,
Dude, I love that. Thank you so much. I always like bringing you on, man. You always give some different take on things, and I always take notes and learn something. So thanks, Adam. I appreciate you, man. Adam, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. Trenton, thanks for joining us, and everyone else, thanks for coming in.